What NBC News and MSNBC reporters do matters.
Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day, or X today, saying like, we are the media, you are the media. My message to Elon Musk is bullshit. I want to get to the closest approximation of the truth without any fear, without any favoritism. Like, being a reporter's hard, really hard.
The industry's going to hell. Nobody trusts them.
You get people lying every day, every hour, every minute about the news. Critics of the press are feeling more empowered than ever.
MSNBC is being sold. Elon Musk is joking around with Donald Trump Jr. and Joe Rogan about buying it. And MSNBC hosts came on. I've never seen anything like the pleading that they did, pleading their case. Let's see a little bit of this.
Who have made significant contributions to the industry, and you have. Specifically, you and Mikey were awarded for your work that has revolutionized how audiences consume news. And we have some of the remarks you made during your acceptance speech. Let's listen.
I hate this damn debate about like, oh, we don't need the media. Like, it is not true. Think about what makes this. I love this country. I'm a beneficiary of this country. Like some from Wisconsin who can come and start two companies, be up here, win an award, sit next to Mikey. I'm a beneficiary of it. But there's something about the country. There's something about it, right? There's something about freedom, capitalism, the animal spirits of democracy. But at the core of that is maybe transparency, maybe a free press, maybe the ability to do your job without worrying to go to jail, maybe the ability to sit in a war zone and tell people what's actually happening so they're not just looking at distortion. Matters. It matters profoundly. It's why it's not like we just love getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning doing this every single day. Like, we do it because we love it. We do it because it matters. The work that we do matters. Everything we do is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day, or X today, saying like, we are the media, you are the media. My message to Elon Musk is bullshit. You're not the media. You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle, and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter any more than me looking at your head and seeing that you have a brain and telling you have an awesome set of tools makes me a damn neurosurgeon, right? Like, what we do, what journalists do, what you did in Mississippi, what Al Jazeera does in the Middle East. You don't proclaim yourself to be a reporter. Like, that's nonsense. Like, being a reporter's hard, really hard. You have to care. You have to do the hard work. You have to get up every single day and say, I want to get to the closest approximation of the truth without any fear, without any favoritism. You don't do that by popping off on Twitter. You don't do that by having an opinion. You do it by doing the hard work.
Yeah, come on, slow clap, everybody. Whoa. First of all, I've got to say,
He sounds emotional, fearful, and a bit bitter. I think that's the type of talk coming from someone who understands that it's dying. The industry that he works in is dying, and he's upset about it. And he's trying to point the finger and throw blame at Elon Musk for that without really understanding the part that he and the legacy media played, the instrumental part that they played in all of this. And I suppose that lack of self-reflection is one of the reasons that the industry is dying. It's why they're here. He kind of mixes the meaning of media and reporter, and he mixes the kind of different types of journalism together in order to make his point sound stronger. You know, he kind of acts like the journalists who go to war zones are under fire by Elon Musk or users on X or something, which isn't really the case. What is happening is the media just repeatedly for years has proven itself to be untrustworthy and biased, and now platforms have come along that have allowed people the freedom to actually share their opinions without being censored, and so they've lost control. The legacy media has lost control of the overall population, and this is their reaction. So all of them applaud him. They, in their minds, are like martyrs. They're like heroes who are falling, you know. And let's just continue on and see what else they have to say.
Extraordinary content. It needed to be said.
Yeah.
It continues to need to be said. When all of the garbage is flying around on social media, lying about reporters, lying about the hard work they do, lying about the hard work editors do, lying about everything up and down, about not only their alternative set of facts, but alternative set of facts about what people like you do. And I love how you connected reporters in Mississippi in the 1960s to reporters fighting for their life to get the story out in the Middle East today. Jim, it was very powerful.
Really good.
Very powerful. Even if even if we had to beep you more than we would if we ran a Dave Chappelle concert,
I
it was
liked
still
it.
good.
Jim smiled.
Again, there's an awful lot of emotion here, and they're really having to kind of fight their case here. They feel they have to defend themselves. They're upset because Elon Musk shared a post about that you are the media, and the people are the media, and they're terribly upset at that idea. And they're talking about free speech and truth, but they don't want people talking, and they don't want people to feel empowered to share their thoughts. And they're refusing this idea. They're saying we're the media, they're not the media. Well, there's different forms of media. That's just definitively how it works.
He preached it though. Cadence. I mean, I might get him ordained.
Well, let me just say why this is so important right now, more than ever, is because critics of the press are feeling more empowered than ever to lie more than ever. I've had friends for years going, I'm so overwhelmed, Joe, by the news. I don't read the news. I go, where do you get your news then? Epic Times. I go,
Oh, God.
You get your news from a website run by Chinese, by conspiracy theorists in a Chinese religious cult. That is where you get the news. No. Or if social media, people lying every day, every hour, every minute about the news. What you do matters. What the New York Times does matters. What the Wall Street Journal does matters. What Jonathan Lemire does matters. What the Financial Times does matters. What NBC News and MSNBC reporters do matters. It matters.
You can even see in her face. You can just see in her face. She knows that they're all just bargaining. And I actually thought of the 5 stages of grief. I think they're experiencing 1, if not maybe 3 out of the first 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, and bargaining. I've never seen anything like this. The media just desperately trying at this point to just convince you that what they do matters. Listen, if you have to tell us, you show people that what you do matters. And if you can't show it, then don't bother trying to just convince people with your words, because it's just, at this point, I think it's more of just that they need to vent, maybe. They're upset because it's hit them. This has really dawned on them.
And it doesn't mean there aren't things that we get wrong. And the reason I guess I was hopped up at that speech was I listened to so many reporters who feel like the industry's going to hell. Nobody trusts them. They're demoralized. And the truth is, we don't have time to be demoralized. We don't have time to whine. We have to do our job. Like, there is a information war out there, and there's still tens of millions of people that depend on great reporting, and it's our job to make sure we create viable businesses around it, and that we really do try to get to the closest approximation of the truth. Maybe do a little bit, maybe be more curious than condescending, maybe a little more fearless than foaming at the mouth. And I think if we can do those things, I think we can win back people who are skeptical. The entire social media ecosystem, a lot of the things you just mentioned, they feed off of all of us trying to get to the closest approximation of truth. So people just, like, I think they need to calm down. I know there's a lot of your viewers who kind of wish that sometimes, like, everything was just like boom, boom, boom on one side. But, like, we have to bring people facts. We have to bring people clarity and hopefully reported insights so they can ultimately make better decisions and understand a very, very complicated world.
So I think there he's basically admitting that he understands they weren't being unbiased. And he's suggesting that they should try doing that to win back viewers. If that, is it too late for that? Can we actually trust? I mean, you want people to be committed to the truth for the principle of truth, for the, morally believing in truth, as opposed to, I'm going to tell the truth because I need to win back viewers, and then once I've won them back, maybe I'll just start laxing again and do whatever I want again. But I think he's aware that they dug their own grave here.
By the way, we've got great viewers. And you know what our viewers are? They're family. We got a family that understands because they've been around. You have a family that follows you that understands because you've been around. The New York Times has a family. Wall Street Journal. These places that have great reporters, right? They don't need to worry about what happens over the next 5 minutes or the next 5 weeks or the next 5 months, because you print truth all the time. And like you said, this is what gets me. Is somebody pops off on Twitter or some other social media and they lie. They make mistakes. You know what the cost of that is? Nothing. They do it again. In fact, it helps them because algorithms are rigged. So you stir up shit, and you the more you can get people angry, the more followers you get, but also now it's monetized to help you lie.
He's angry at the wrong thing. You're equating two completely different things. You're equating journalism with people's right to free speech, and you're upset that the average person's right to free speech doesn't have the same rules as your journalism. But journalism is supposed to have a standard because you're supposed to be a trusted source. But you're upset because you abused that for so long that you are no longer seen as a trusted source. But that's your doing. They're just deflecting. They're upset right now, and they haven't figured out yet that the responsibility is on them.
Here's the deal that I explained to my friends that go into the gutter and get disinformation. I say, there's no cost for them lying to you. But if Jim Vandehei has a reporter that gets it wrong, well, they're editors. If the New York Times gets something wrong or the Wall Street Journal reporters get something wrong,
rightly so,
they're editor after editor after editor after editor, and they check it and they make sure it's right. They make sure it's double and triple sourced, and still sometimes they get it wrong. And so then what happens? They either retract it, or most likely they get sued if they don't retract it, right? So there are checks and balances there.
People aren't upset about people are upset when you get things wrong. But the problem is the bias that you don't get checked for. There is just insane, disgusting bias that, especially this election cycle that went on, that was actually immoral, and you don't get called out for it, and people have called you out on it by just stopping watching your show and watching your channels.
Checks and balances there that you don't find in the gutter when you're on social media just following algorithms that lead you to liars.
And it's easy to take one case of something being biased or one case of something being wrong and saying, therefore, everything the New York Times writes or Axios writes is wrong. And what I tell people is just read the Wall Street Journal or Axios or the Financial Times or the New York Times every day and use your own eyes. Do you feel like they're trying to get to the closest approximation of the truth with every story, and that most of the time, if not almost all of the time, they do? If they do, then you can trust it as a news source. It doesn't mean you can't give yourself time to go get riled up because you have ideological views or other passions. But if you take away truth and you take away reported truth or common facts from the equation, I honestly
which is what they did.
believe the whole damn American experiment goes under. You might love or hate a free press, but there is a reason that this democracy, this country has thrived in a way that none others have. And I believe and will forever believe that a free press sits at the center of that, and that sometimes reality is reality and facts are facts.
It is. You know, Jim, this weekend, the second greatest thing to come out of Wisconsin. The first I saw a castle in Wisconsin made completely of cheese. Well, but after that, Jim Vandehei,
yes,
number
job.
2. And you know what I always say is to my friends who say, I don't trust the press anymore because they've been listening to Donald Trump undermine the press and Elon Musk and everybody else. I go, you know what? Murdoch owns the Wall Street Journal. Read the Wall Street. You don't want to read the New York Times? I'll read it for you. You read the Wall Street Journal. That's a Murdoch paper. Look at their reporting. I mean, so if people think that Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal is like a left-wing, pro-deep state newspaper, they're beyond help. I mean, it's like at some point, people have to want to know the truth. And if they don't want to know the truth, well, then go ahead and walk around ignorant. Again, if you won't even look at the Wall Street Journal,
right?
Then there's a problem.
Axios co-founder and CEO Jim Vandehei. Really quick, Rich, we've got to go. Go ahead.
There's a movement in this country to teach kids in high schools media literacy, and they can basically navigate this space. It's an important part of a civics education. It's a really important civics education,
for sure.
They are terrified. I mean, she knew that, like, it was pointless. He was getting onto her in a very emotional rant, and she stopped him there. That is people who are desperate right now. Most people are very familiar at this point with the way that the media lies, and look, it's a great thing that this is finally seeing its day, because it's been years of lying, bias, and it's come to a head now. I remember years ago, I didn't believe that this was possible. That this could be derailed the way that it's been. And people don't have a problem with true journalism. They can't sit on their high horse and pretend that they haven't been one of the most biased news outlets in America. Journalism will prevail after this. It will continue, but it will most likely be much more unbiased, proper, true journalism that will survive this. That's all from me for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, write a comment, share your opinion because it matters. See you next time.